I did when you had Silver.
Because I was
I
scared
couldn't
in that
sleep
house.
at night.
No.
You know, I
would've
just
been scared
was
without
waiting,
you.
you know, because like I say, I see people looking at me. Oh, Mr. Autry would, you know, do his little jingles and.
He was cool though.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't
didn't
hurt you.
hurt us.
He, you know, seriously,
He wasn't there to hurt anybody.
What was really amazing about that was Mr. Henderson, the next door neighbor, knew about it. You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, we were the only ones that ever happened to. You know.
Yeah.
You know, he laughed about it. You know, seriously. Oh yeah, you know, Bart, he ain't gonna hurt you. You know how Mr. Henderson used to talk?
Yeah.
He just likes to
he
let you know he's around. You know,
He wasn't there to
so
hurt anybody.
evidently he knew.
Yeah.
You know. It didn't bother him. I mean, he
No.
didn't warn us, you know, like, oh, you know, your house is haunted, you know. He says, how do you like your house guests, you know? I said, what do you mean? You know, oh, now I know you met Mr. Oxford, you know. I said, yeah, is that the one that's making all the weird noises and stuff? He said, yeah.
Walking up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
We'd be downstairs, he'd walk around.
I swear to
upstairs.
God, Leslie, I was sitting in the bathtub, and the stairway went straight up, and then the bathroom was right on the top of the steps.
Yeah.
I was sitting in there, and I think Loretta was plucking her eyebrows or something. Now, seriously, you know, in the mirror. And all of a sudden, that front door opened, and it slammed with so much force.
It went back and hit the stairs.
Yeah, it went back.
It flew back and hit the steps and then shut.
Yeah. And so I jumped out of the tub, just threw a towel, because I thought somebody broke in the house. I went running down. The damn safety chain was still on the door.
And we did hear it fly back and hit the
Yes,
steps.
I mean, it wasn't just like,
Hit
you
the
know,
landing.
it was like a bang,
Yeah,
you
it
know.
crashed back.
It was a door, you know, it was the sound of a door. And you could hear them, and it came right there, you know. I mean, It wasn't a bedroom door or the back door, it was the front door.
Well, that's the only one we had on the patio, or that little back room.
Yeah, I think if I remember
That was
correctly,
the
when
store,
we
or
went
the
running
screen
down
door.
there, the curtains were still moving.
Yeah.
But the chain,
The chain was back on.
there ain't no way, you know, because you know, a safety lock, you can't even get your hand inside there to open it, you know. So, you know, it's only 2 or 3 inches at the most. And, you know, there's no way possible that there wasn't somebody in that house that took that chain off, opened that door and slammed it and put the chain on.
Not that fast, anyway. You got right down
I
there.
mean, there, you know, somebody was there.
Yeah.
I mean, they
He
didn't
probably
run.
just went out for a walk. And
Yeah, they
it was
didn't.
too cold, and he came back.
They didn't run out the back door, you know. Seriously, they didn't run out the back door or anything.
No.
Not have time to put the chain on now.
Yeah, really.
No.
No, because he was.
Years ago, and Michelle and Amy were sleeping on the floor, if I remember correctly. And I got home real late. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and neither one of them had, the blanket had fallen off of them. So I went ahead and took the blanket and covered over them. And you know those thermal blankets, the nylon top across the top of the blanket. It was a perfect blanket. I threw it over them, and then I went to bed. And later on that night, or that morning, I should say, Michelle woke up screaming, and I went running downstairs, and the nylon had unraveled and was wrapped around her neck, choking her. That was at the same time that the people that were living next door used to practice witchcraft in the basement. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
That's
but
another
I
story.
remember you
That's
telling me.
another story, Leslie. I could tell you about these guys that I met that were in a coven. Kent.
Mhm.
They were strange. They were into medieval, or what the hell you want to call it? Medieval, you know, like, remember, you know, supposedly like when they had the knights and stuff?
Yeah.
These guys used to practice out in the backyards, hatchet
She's not a flat
throwing
baby anymore.
at each other, you know, seriously, stuff like that.
Big.
And this one guy's name was Eric, and he looked just like the devil. He was a little Italian guy, real short. And when he would have his seances and stuff, not seances, but his covens,
Mhm.
No,
he
no,
had
no.
little horns he put
No,
on
no.
his head, little clip horns, and he cut his hair and pasted all over his face so his face would be all hairy. And these suckers, Amy and Linda Kirkhart were in with these people. And I mean, they was the kind of guy that would give you willies just being around him. I mean, you couldn't look him in the eye, you couldn't even hardly stand to be around him. And you know what the funny part about that is? They were you know, Satanists, you know. But the funny part about that was when I started working up here at Lupco, Bernie Atkins, he knew these people. They were friends of a friend of his, where he went over to party at their house, and he was one that was telling me about they used to throw axes at each other, hatchets, all this stuff. And it was just kind of wild to know someone else that knew him, you know.
Yeah.
This was back in the 70s, you know, early 70s. Weird. I attribute that blanket to them guys, because Amy used to take them down the basement, and they used to do seances and stuff. And I don't know why our cousins draw that octagon or whatever it is on the floor and put candles on it and stuff.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I'm Dad.
I'll probably let you go. What?
Oakwood Street, I had that nightmare about that boogeyman in my bed. I woke up, I turned my head, and he was laying beside my pillow. I started screaming for you, and you came in here and threw it out the window.
Yep. I remember. You were spastic. You were spazzing out on
Yep,
it.
I came in and saved you, huh?
Yeah. Do it out the patio sliding window, or the window,
Front
sliding
window?
window thing.
Front window?
No, her bedroom window.